So today we're going to talk about your 10 steps into making sure you're ready and prepared to get in your first buy to let. Craig Parker here, Parker's Property Sourcing, just coming at you with another video today. And today's video is going to be 10 steps on checking to see if you're prepared and ready to your first buy to let. Even if you're watching this video and you have already got a buy to let, don't switch off, because it could be your next buy to let also. But it's always good for a recap and a recheck over on steps that active investors are doing, making sure that they've got in place before they go ahead and buy their next or first property. So step number one is having a clear investment plan. A clear goal, clarity on what you're making this investment for. And it's pretty simple. Are you buying it for cash flow? So, good return on investment on a monthly basis. Are you buying it for capital growth? So not too bothered about return on investment on a monthly basis, more for, later on in life, is the property going up in value at an accelerated rate? Or is it both? Are you looking for a bit of cash flow and capital growth? So that's step number one. Once you need to work out, what it is you're investing for? What are you looking for? Is it for both capital growth and return on investment, either or either? So once you've worked that out, you can then move on to step number two. Step number two is securing your deposit, or making sure you got your deposit in place, or funding options. So if you haven't got the deposit, how are you going to fund this deal? Are you going to do a joint venture? Are you going to borrow the money from an investor? Work that out. Securing your deposit isn't always the easiest thing to do, but if you have got money to buy a property, or got enough money saved and it's enough to buy a property, fantastic, good on you, basically, because it's not easy to save. But that would be step number two, working out, have you got your deposit in place, or have you worked out how you're going to fund your buy to let property? Step number three is checking and strengthening your credit rating. If you are mortgaging the property, which most people do, have you got a good credit rating? Is all your credit in check? Big thing to make sure you got in place. There's loads of different credit file companies that you can use and check your credit rating with. A few little tips on boosting your credit score would be to clear little debts as quick as you can. Paying more than your monthly minimum payment on your loans and your credit card. So paying them off quicker and paying more definitely helps with credit rating. But that'll be step number three, just to make sure that your credit is in check. You got no missed payments or CCJs, and everything's looking good, because that's what the lenders are looking at, to see if you're a suitable person for them to lend money to. So that's pretty important, step number three. Step number four is making sure that you got your bank statements in order. Usually, again, if you're mortgaging, even if you're not mortgaging, I'm pretty sure that you get asked for this anyway. The banks ask for 3 to 6 months of bank statements. So what they're looking at there is obviously just to make sure that there's no erratic spending. There's no what do you call it? I don't even know the word. That's how that I don't do it. Gambling. So, and no gambling sites. Sorry, gambling sites on your bank statements. You're not living in your overdraft. These little things, so they usually ask for 3 to 6 months bank statements, just to make sure that everything's in order, and to see where your proof of deposit's coming from as well, and to see how you've got that deposit for money laundering reasons and all of that. So you got to make sure that you got your bank statements, and I'd say make sure you got 6 months bank statements looking good, looking clean. It's all in order, because the bank, the lenders do check it. And then step number 5, so we're halfway there, making sure that your ID and your proof of address is all in order as well. So wherever your bank statements are would be your proof of address. Make sure that it's all lined up with your ID. So if, for example, you're using a driving license, make sure the driving license matches your proof of address, because if it doesn't, you're going to get asked questions, and you probably won't get the mortgage unless you've got a really good enough reason. Little things, the first 5 steps so far, halfway through the video. These are little things, but they're things that need to be checked and in place in order for you to get your buy-to-let, Step number 6. So step number 6 is speaking to your mortgage broker. Get in there with him or her very early, because, it just helps you out, to be fair. So when you're in front of estate agents at the last stage of this process, you're a bit more confident. You don't really want to be going to viewings not having spoken to a broker, because you may not know, or you just won't know what you can and can't buy, so good to talk to a broker, let him or her know your situation, what sort of deposit you have. Then they can tell you what you can buy, what you can afford, what you can't afford. So step number 6, mortgage broker, very, very important. Number 7, spoke about this a lot, won't go into too much detail on this video, but it's good to have it in place. Your power team. Your power team is very, very important to have in place before you get your first buy-to-let or your next buy-to-let. What do I mean by power team? So from your mortgage broker to your solicitor to your surveyors, if they're different or the same, estate agents, deal sourcers, builders, all of these people need to be in place before you get your first or your next buy-to-let. Just so it's like a clock and a cog in a clock. They all need to be working in order for the time to be shown, and to be correct. So that's how I put a power team down. I make sure that my power team is always in the background, ready to do what we need to do, or doing what we need to do, before I go for my next buy-to-let. Number 8, understanding your numbers. Again, simple return on your investment. We buy with formulas, we don't buy with feelings. So we need to make sure that we know how to work out what our monthly cash flow is going to be, working out all our expenses, adding buffers. So like if we're going to get a refurb cost when we got our builder, that's part of our power team, gives us a quote for whatever it is we need doing. We need to add a buffer on top of that. So knowing your numbers is step number 8, and it's very, very important. Step number 9 is to research your area. Where are you buying? Is there a demand? If you are buying, we go back to step number 1 when we worked out what it is we're investing for. If we are buying for cash flow, then we need to know, okay, researching in the area, is there a demand? What is the rent in that area? How much are the house prices or property prices in that area? So we've got to know our numbers, and we need to really crunch down and hone down on this. It's easy to work it out, but it's repetition. So knowing your numbers, number 9. And then step number 10, which is the most fun part and the most important part, is to take action. If you've gone through all of these 10 steps or 9 steps before the 10th one, and they're all in place, you've got all your ducks in a row, number 10 is time to take action. Get your first buy-to-let or your next buy-to-let, start earning that passive income and growing your portfolio. So hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I've been Craig Parker. Until next time.